Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be discussing with you guys as well as giving you some of my initial thoughts and feelings on the newly revealed Transformers and Dracula crossover. Now this particular item is something that we've known about for quite a considerable amount of time now. I believe leaked listings began to circulate very earlier on in this year, and as to what the actual contents of this set would be has remained a mystery up until now, and I will be honest and say that it definitely has taken me by surprise, and the final figure is definitely not what I was expecting. But one thing that is in fact really interesting is that this particular Dracula figure is in fact a part of what appeared to be this almost universal monster subline, so I'm really hoping to see perhaps other monsters introduced from various other different franchises into the Transformers line. That would be super interesting and a really cool concept, and Dracula on paper actually sounds really cool. However, the actual finished Draculus sadly does leave a little bit to be desired. Now before we actually begin to discuss the figure itself, we'll very quickly go over the packaging. This comes in an actual proper box, so you can see a really cool piece of artwork there of Draculus. This is a Dracula and Transformers crossover, so once again another crossover to add to the line. Super glad to see these crossovers continuing. I thought the likes of the Expanse, as well as of course the Ghostbusters Ectotron, the Gigawatt DeLorean, and then a few others that we've gotten have been really impressive. Of course the Top Gun Maverick did leave a lot to be desired, but for the most part these most recent crossover figures have actually been fairly impressive. Then of course we actually take a look here at the figure itself, and sadly this is just merely going to be a retool, or slight repaint should I say, of the deluxe class Mind Wipe that I believe we got in Titan's Return, the old Headmaster figure, and I'm actually really disappointed as I thought this figure was going to be at least a Voyager class, and to be honest with you, if anything, I actually thought they would have retooled the Voyager class Scourge, as of course he does have a rather vampire-esque type of design already, and I just thought that they would rather use a newer mold when in comparison to what is essentially an ancient mold at this point. I mean, this figure came out 4 or 5 years ago, so they definitely are really scraping the barrel in terms of molding, but I will say that I actually think the design as well as the colour scheme looks pretty impressive. Now this figure really only comes with 2 new additional accessories, that being a brand new head sculpt as well as now a cape or a cloak, I guess you could call it, and the robot mode actually doesn't look too bad at all. I think the robot mode looks fairly impressive. The head sculpt is of course the main event. It looks really awesome. Of course we've got the actual fangs of Dracula, which looks really cool, and the colour scheme is done this time in an almost gunmetal silver, and of course we've got some subtle red highlights. So as far as an actual robot design goes, I think it looks pretty cool. It definitely does go along with this Dracula theme that they do appear to be going with for this character. There's also an image here of the cloak which can wrap around him in robot mode, which looks super awesome. Really excited to actually get this guy in hand, and I'm hoping that he turns out a little better when in comparison to some of these initial pictures. And then we also get an image here of him in the bat mode. Now this looks exactly the same as Mind Wipe, this time of course just colorized in black with a few red highlights for the wings. I've always thought that was one of the better Titan Return figures, so if I were to be 100% honest, I am still excited for this. I do just wish that maybe they could have stepped out of the box, given us a brand new mold, or at least heavy retooled the Voyager class Studio Series Scourge. You can also see how the cape can attach here in the bat mode. To be honest with you, it doesn't look the best, so for this particular mode I will be leaving that cape off, but overall definitely not a bad looking figure at all. They also did reveal Road Rage. I do believe that Target are planning to do exclusive Transformers reveals every Friday for at least the next couple of weeks, so here's hoping that we can actually get official Transformers reveals, as this year so far has definitely been pretty dry. We haven't got that many Fan Fest Fridays, of course we've really not gotten all that many official reveals, and the Studio Series line in regards to live action figures has been more or less dead in regards to publicity, so really hoping that some of these Target reveals can in fact revamp the Transformers publicity. But Dracula's looked decent, definitely a figure that I'm looking forward to seeing as to how he turns out in hand. I personally think he's going to be a lot better in hand than compared to some of these images. As mentioned, I think the majority of these crossover figures are definitely pretty decent, but I would love to know down in the comment section below on what you guys think. One thing I will mention however is that although he is only a deluxe class, this guy in the UK is retailing for £35, 35 or £36, which is literally an almost £15 increase when in comparison to say a £20 deluxe, so definitely a significant hike. I do understand that this is a crossover, it's a special type of figure, it's not going to be made in the same quantities as the likes of a standard mass-produced Kingdom figure, but still £15 extra for a repaint of a very old figure with a new head and of course cape. Personally, I do think that is a little higher on the spectrum, and then of course you even have to add postage onto that, so it rounds off to roughly £40, which is the price point that our leader class figures used to go for back in Dark of the Moon, as well as of course Revenge of the Fallen. So definitely an incredibly expensive figure for only a deluxe, so once again not going to appeal to everybody. I would love to know down in the comment section below what you guys think of this Universal Monsters Transformers and Dracula crossover, which of course results in, I believe they're calling it the Decepticon Draculus. Are you guys impressed with what you're seeing, or like me, are you a little more skeptical and will wait until you actually see some in-hand images of this figure? And of course, what do you guys think of the price increase here for this particular crossover figure? I thank you all so much for watching. As always, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below what you think of both the figure as well as the video, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.